Welcome to part 6 of my pantry organization series. I am going to be packing up my dry beans and putting them in food grade containers. We're going to be working on our spice shelf as well as go through our rolling carts and try to narrow those down. We're also going to be going through our dry spices and packages. And let's see what we got cooking, so come join us. I am loving my little space heater. It is so aesthetically pleasing and very visually appealing. Hey everybody, welcome to part 6 of my pantry organization series. I'll be sure to link part 1 through 5 in the description box below, and I'm also participating in the Three Rivers Pantry Challenge. So please stick around. I'm going to show you what we're working on. Today we are going to focus on my spice rack, and we're going to organize our dry beans. And then we're going to look at our rolling cart, which we have 4 rolling carts that have condiments. So they have pickles, olives, salad dressings, barbecue sauces. We're going to look at those today as well and just try to get a little bit of decluttering done here on this cold and rainy day before this Arctic blast. So stick around and let's get started. Oh wait, before I forget, let me show you some recipes we made. For dinner last night, we kept it simple with some frozen Japanese-style fried rice from Trader Joe's. I added a little bit of edamame and some eggs for some added protein since this was a vegetarian meal. I'm really going to be focusing on cleaning out my freezers in addition to the pantry. Obviously, if we were to lose power, the first thing that would be compromised would be the perishable foods in our freezer and refrigerator. So I need to find a nice balance between using things from our pantry but also focusing on our freezer. This rice is so good on its own, it doesn't need a whole lot of flavoring, but I threw some soy sauce in there as well as cutting up some of these little seaweed strips. Next, I added some white sesame seeds, followed by some furikake, which is like an Asian allspice. It's got seaweed and sesame seeds and different ingredients like that. This is one of those meals that is so simple to make and you can do it in under 15 minutes. It was a hit. This morning for breakfast, we decided to make pan-fried chorizo and potatoes using canned potatoes. Here Corey was using some bacon up and realized he used too much, so he scooped it back into the container. So this was our first time to try using canned potatoes. We were a little bit worried that they had too much water in them. We drained them the best we could, and they ended up turning out great. I'll go ahead and tell you that now. We added a few seasonings, followed by some of our freeze-dried purple onions, and then Corey threw some peppers in there. I think they were poblano. And we just stirred them up, and eventually they did crisp up. Now it's time to fry up the chorizo. Another amazing breakfast by my hubby. Tonight's dinner is Mayakoba beans in the slow cooker. We decided to go ahead and make these, number one, because it's super cold and I just felt like having beans. Number 2, we are organizing our beans today. And number 3, we had some sausage that we need to use up that's been in our fridge for a few weeks, and I just decided to put that in here. So here we go. Let's get it started. This is a Cajun green onion sausage, and I threw in your basics: onion, some tomatoes. I'm using our canned smoked turkey broth from our Thanksgiving turkey. That sausage, you could see the big chunks of green onion, and I had these little tomatoes that I needed to use, so I went ahead and threw those in. as well as some of Corey's canned green chilies. So I am anxious to try this. It's only been going a few hours and it smells amazing. This is going to be delicious. Since we're using a green onion sausage, I thought, why not? Just threw in some freeze-dried green onions and cut some fresh ones in there too. We also forgot to add our Mexican oregano and some garlic and some different Mexican all-purpose seasonings. As part of today's pantry challenge, I am going to be sorting through my dry beans and getting them put into food grade containers. And while I do that, I thought I would go ahead and discuss my most recent Bible study message with you. Just to recap, I'm still studying through Hebrews, and it's one of those books where the author is unknown. A lot of people think that it's Paul, others think it's Barnabas or Apollo, but the point of the message in the book of Hebrews, although it's written to the Jews, and it was written for them because they were facing persecution for converting to Christianity, and the writer is just simply telling them to stay the course. And it's really cool because, a lot of people say, why bother reading the Old Testament? We're under a new covenant, so why should we even bother? But there is so much foreshadowing in the Old Testament that applies to us today, or that we can get a message from. And the book of Hebrews does a lot of referencing to the Old Testament, and it ties together beautifully. So I am currently in the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, and I think many of us Christians or Gentiles can relate to somewhat being persecuted, not to the extent that they were in the Bible, but we face some kind of persecution each and every day because of our morals and our choices. But that's one thing that I feel like I can relate to with what they're going through, because they were converted Jews who converted to Christianity and were thinking about going back to the Mosaic law. And how often during our daily walk do we face the same type of persecution where we have to suppress our beliefs to accommodate culture today? In my previous Bible study message, I talked about how walking in this life is very similar to running a race. And if you didn't hear that message, I post that on my community page, but I also put it in my last pantry video. I think that was part 5. But my most recent study is not talking about how this life is like a race, but it's comparing it to a battle. So the writer of Hebrews is reminding us that although we do struggle against sin, we have not suffered the way that Christ has suffered. We're reminded that God does not discipline us the way a human father disciplines his child. There are no mistakes made out of anger, and God's discipline is for training, and always out of love, never out of punishment. The word discipline comes from discipulus, the Latin word for pupil, which is the source of the word disciple. Think of our hardships in life like a pop quiz. How we respond out of faith or fear will result in our growth as passing or needing to study more. We are reminded that God disciplines the ones He loves, and that we need to endure what we consider hardships as part of His training to share in His holiness. You can find something on that in Hebrews 12:10. The pain we feel can't compare to the joy that's coming, and that can be found in Romans chapter 8, verse 18. Rejoice in the partaking of Christ's suffering. That's in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 12 through 13, and that's so we can share in His revealed glory. Remember, we are told that we must take up our cross if we want to follow Him, and that can be found in Mark chapter 8, verse 34 to 35. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but rather painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. That's in Hebrews chapter 12, verse 11. The offer always stands, but not enough people take Jesus up on his offer, which is, "Come to me, all who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest." That can be found in Matthew chapter 11, verse 28. Isn't it comforting to know that in the midst of our training, Jesus will let us rest whenever we need to? James summed it up perfectly when he said, "Consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance." And that's in James chapter 1, verse 2 to 3. Now it's time to cover the main water line, and they don't call him MacGyver for nothing. He is wrapping a towel around this pipe, putting a plastic bin over it, and then balancing on a stool. Only my sweet thing. I apologize for the voiceover for this segment. There was some technical issues, but I was basically just saying that it's nice to have a great variety of spices and seasoning packets and condiments to spice up your meal. If we were ever in a situation where we had to live off the food in our pantry, it's a good way to avoid food fatigue, so it's really important to pay attention to your spices. So on this top shelf right here, I already see two things that are out of place. This is a soup mix, okay? So toasted tortilla, and then this is a King Ranch casserole mix, but the pasta is included, so I'm going to put this on my pasta shelf for now. And then this I will put on my soup shelf for now. This shelf is very cool. I got this at a garage sale, I believe, and I think I paid like $20 for it, and it's real sturdy. I think this used to be, if I was to guess, just based on the way it's shaped, it kind of looks like it used to be at a convenience store or maybe a movie theater, and this was like a concession stand snack holder. That would be my guess, but it's coming awfully handy for our spices. On the back, we like to maximize our space, so we have a couple of these toiletry organizers that we currently keep our Spam and our packets of tuna. I'm really not going to spend a whole lot of time trying to put this in any kind of alphabetical order or anything. The main thing is to just be able to step back and do a glance and find the spice that we're looking for. So mainly all I'm going to do is just kind of try to straighten up in here a little bit. The bouillon cubes, going to try to put those together. And let's look down here. These are cracker seasonings. We have garlic dill, green chili, cinnamon toast. So I'm just gonna put these up here. This one tried to fall through the little slats, so I had to turn that one sideways. Okay, this one too. Okay, it's good enough. Most of these are just your basic seasonings, but I'll go over a few of them in case you're interested, just looking to add a variety to your pantry. We have this citrusy garlic Caribbean or Cuban style from Trader Joe's. That's just some more French onion soup and dip mix. Dijon mustard. Buttery burger blend. Caramelized onion burger. Umami seasoning, mushroom and onions. Got a honey garlic back there. These Julios, I don't know if you've ever had the Julio chips. I don't know what it is about their seasoning, but it's amazing. So we had to stock up on these. We go through these quite frequently. We've got malt vinegar powder, soy sauce powder, everything but the elote, smoky ham broth, garlic butter seasoning. I got this one turned around backwards because it's got a little bit of it's got a curse word in it. Let's just say special stuff. So we got that and garlic butter seasoning. Some of these will be great on popcorn. This is an all-purpose sunshine seasoning. I think Chloe told me this is a girl on Food Network. What's her name? Tabitha Brown. Another buttery steakhouse. I will just kind of try to turn the labels around where I can see them. Coffee rub. The Steak and Shake fry seasoning. Brown sugar. Okay, let's look down here. Okay, on this next shelf here, it looks like I can fit a few more things. It looks like it's got some empty gaps. So I'm going to scoot these down and then I'm going to move the next row up a little bit. Everything but the bagel with Asiago cheese seasoning. Why won't that come into focus? There we go. Memphis style barbecue. Oh, this is a sauce. That's not a spice. This goes over on my condiment rack over here. Is there any room for the time being? Here is some honey hickory. Large yeast flakes, which if you're vegan, this is a good substitute for cheese. There's a real good cheese queso dip using cashews and yeast flakes. I won't scoot down, it kind of hangs over too much. Let's see. Some rotisserie chicken, roasted garlic, cherry cola. Where's her sister sauce? What is this? Whiskey burger. Oh, that's by Blackstone. Okay. Thai mojito. That hickory smoke powder. That'll work. Okay, so now we got a little bit of room to move some stuff up. I am trying to figure out, are these beans or green chili? It's green chili. Okay, so that also belongs on my condiment rolling carts, but those are busting at the seam. In fact, I'm trying to clear space so I can take some stuff off of there and move it over here. So I'm going to leave these put for a minute. Is that what they all are? I thought some of them were beans. Oh, down here, look, we got beans down here. That belongs on the bean shelf, which is over there in the corner. And this isn't broken. See how it's all cockeyed? I think I just need to move it up a level. We'll mess with that here shortly. This is a soup. Oh, I bet I put this over here because I'm paranoid to put glass onto my shelves over there. I'm afraid they'll fall. So I was putting them over here because these are a little more secure. But let's go ahead and move this over with the soups. This looks like a couple more things from the Amish market. Sour cream and onion powder. more nutritional yeast. Bacon and ranch dip. You can make this into a dip or a dressing. Let's move the green chilies down. Now let's scoot some of these better than bouillons down. Let's put the brown gravy up here with all these gravy packets and sauce packets just for a moment. Here are some more bouillon cubes. Let's put those up here. Will the chopped onion fit up here? Now let's get these beans onto the bean shelf. I tried to straighten this out because this is driving me absolutely nuts. And this thing will not come out for anything. But the good news is it is secure. It's annoying because it's crooked, but nothing is going to fall out. So Corey's not here right now, so I can't really ask him to come get it out for me. We're able to fit one of the rolling carts under the desk, which is a great space saver. This one is all of our tomato stuff. It's got sun-dried tomatoes, rotel, some spaghetti sauce, some tomato paste, and that's just over here with our tomatoes. As much as these rolling carts are practical, because it is nice that they have wheels and I can just scoot them around and get them out of the way if I need to get somewhere, but I would still like to downsize and get rid of some things. So we're going to go through and try to figure out where we can put some of these condiments. I'm going to put some on that bottom shelf of the spice rack. At a glance, right here, things like jalapenos, this would go good up here because on my bean shelf, this right here has Cheese Whiz, things like that. So maybe this can go over here because jalapenos, nachos, it's kind of a whole thing. Garbanzo beans, let me put that there for a minute. Corey and I both thought that this was a case of olives, black olives, because we have one that looks almost identical to that, but these are actually black beans. So I'm going to put this on my bean shelf. Obviously, I kind of do a lot of shelf shuffling all the time as we use food and there becomes spaces that we can scoot stuff around, but for the time being, I'm going to put that there because my focus now is going to be on these rolling carts. I am seeing some gravy packets. Jalapeno gravy. These go with the dry mixes. What's this? Oh, those are mushrooms. Believe it or not, these were once in order and now they're just a hot mess. As I try to figure out what it is I want to put on this bottom row, I'm thinking I want to do pickles and olives. So I'm going to go through these 3 rolling carts here and retrieve all those and put those down here. Everything that I was able to get off of those rolling carts was olives or pickles or muffalata mix. And there's just one other thing. It's spiced watermelon pickles. I've not tried this yet. Can't wait to. But anyway, so let's see if this all fits on that bottom shelf. Have a little bit more space. Let's see what else we could get off those carts. More of these pickled, oh, these are pickled peaches. Okay. I've never tried those. I've had pickles that are dipped in Kool-Aid, but not this way. I hope they're good. I've never tried them. I'm going to put all those salt packets on this shelf, because this is technically a spice and seasoning shelf, and salt is definitely a seasoning. I'm going to put this toasted sesame oil in my pantry in the kitchen. It's a spray. So to me, the shelf is doable for now. I'm making the most use of the space that I have. I'm starting to make a dent in the rolling carts. So I'm going to see if I can consolidate any of these. Corey just got home and I brought him up to speed as to what I got done. And I wish he was here about 30 minutes ago when I was trying to fix that bottom shelf. Now it's all loaded down, so I don't want to change it out. But anyway, let me show you what we have so far. So if I had my way, this cart over here is the one I would try to unload first because it's the flimsiest. These are pretty sturdy carts, so even I say that and then the sways.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy though.
Okay, well, so what I was thinking of doing is we got to go through, I know salad dressings, mayonnaises, I don't know, oh, that's Arby's horsey sauce. We need to go through here and see the shelf life. I know those things that have eggs in them might not last as long. And then your peppers, you've got a bunch of jarred peppers. These are the pepperoncinis. Yeah, you got jalapenos. And I started putting those over here. I don't know if you want to do that. Corey's gathering up all the peppers and putting them over there next to the cheese. I'm thinking, because those cheeses take up a lot of space.
No, we can stack on top of them.
Will they stay, though, or will they fall?
Yeah, they'll stay. You can't stack them, like you said. They're too flimsy.
Yeah, but what if I put them in a basket? We stack them in there. Hazel, I know why you're in here. You looking for your Vienna sausage? We have a bunch of brown gravies on these rolling carts that I think I'm going to put on my soup shelf. Me paste. I can put that over here. Do we have a place that we're putting paste?
I don't know.
Yeah, it kind of counts as a better than bouillon-ish.
Chipotle sauce. And we got enchilada sauce and mole.
He has decided to put his mole sauce, enchilada sauce, over there with the peppers and with the cheese. And we were able to stack the cheese that we canned, and that gave us a lot more room on that shelf. So if you've missed any of the videos in which I organized these shelves here, please go to the description box below. I have a video on every one of the shelves. That's our potato and our beans. This shelf over here is our baked goods. And then over here in the corner, soup shelf that I organized in a recent video. And then behind the spices is the pasta shelf. We are just working our way around the room. I have done some of the shelves that are on the desk. Sorry, all this tripod takes up like 3 feet by 3 feet. Okay. We did organize these, but now it's time to reorganize again. It's a vicious cycle. We've got to get some more things off the desk down here and up onto this cabinet. And then last will be our meat cabinet. In here is a lot of the meat that we canned, as well as other meats that we've collected over the last couple of years. So the bottom drawer actually broke because of the weight of all those keystones. So we're going to have to figure something different out with the meat. So that will be my next video. Genius. Okay, so he's putting the pecani sauce. And are you putting the enchilada sauce over there?
No, enchilada sauce I put over there.
See, the things that I'm kind of getting iffy about are like salad dressings. I don't know when we got this, but that would be something that maybe would not go too far past its best by date. Or some packaged olives. So I'm going to put these down on that shelf.
Olives.
More olives, canned olives. Olives. We almost have this flimsy cart emptied. So we're going to just go ahead and scoot some of that stuff over here. We love this deep roasted sesame dressing. I think it's also a marinade, but we mostly put it on our salad and our vegetables. By cart. All those packets of salt that I put on my pantry shelf here at the bottom, I'm going to have to take those off because I keep coming across more pickles on the rolling cart. We have some smoked Kalamata olives and some snacking pickles in individual servings. These are marinated mushrooms, but they kind of go with the whole pickled vibe, so I'm going to put those down on the bottom shelf. Teamwork makes the dream work. We got it down to 2 carts now. So the carts are getting a lot more manageable, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the gravies that are in a can and I'm going to put them on the bottom row of my soup shelf because that's where I keep all the cream-based soups that I make casseroles with. I only put the brown gravy in the soup section. I have all these other gravies up here. We've got country sausage, golden pork, mushroom gravy, another sausage gravy. I'm probably going to organize these two and finish up on the next video, and then all these sauces and sauce packets, maybe I can fit those onto the rolling carts. Corey decided to use the leftover chorizo and potatoes from breakfast this morning and throw some eggs in and make some egg bites as part of his meal prep for the week. He also put some of his hatch green chilies in here. These are always so soft and fluffy, but if you like them crispier, you can put them in your air fryer. I hope you found some inspiration and motivation from today's video. I find that when I watch other people organizing their pantry, it gets me kind of amped up to do the same. So I hope that you found something useful from this, and I will see you next time. Y'all stay warm. Bye-bye.